The war in Ukraine is still raging. May 19th, 2026. 5th Separate Assault Kyiv Brigade. Donetsk region, one of the most dangerous sectors on the front. Russian soldiers walk alone, aimlessly, across open ground. No unit, no cover, no sense of direction. Some hide in strange places, behind a tree, inside a pipe, under a broken vehicle. The FPV drones find them anyway. This footage shows a pattern. Isolated soldiers, no air cover, no drone defense, no support. They wander until a drone locks on, then they fall. This is what happens when infantry is deployed without coordination, without protection, and without a plan. This footage shows just how sharp drone operators' eyes have become on this battlefield. A drone operator from Ukraine's 414th Magyar Birds unit is rapidly scanning the area with an FPV drone, searching for any sign of Russian presence, when he suddenly notices a shadow beneath a tree. The operator quickly turns the drone back, and it becomes clear that the shadow is actually a Russian soldier resting under the tree. The soldier never even has time to react before the strike arrives. This time, a Skelia 425 drone operator spots 3 Russian soldiers moving across open terrain. An FPV drone is sent in immediately. The soldier at the back is hit first. The remaining 2 scatter in different directions, but one of them is caught several hundred meters away by another drone. No cover, no escape, no safe distance. This footage shows one of the most striking moments on the front line. 1 Russian soldier, 1 Ukrainian FPV drone. Open terrain, no weapon, just a stick in his hand. He swings at the drone as it closes in, trying to fight it off. It doesn't work. When a soldier's only defense is a stick, what chance does he really have? In this footage, a Russian soldier spotted crawling into a drainage culvert pipe. An unusual hiding spot, but on a front where every obvious position has already been targeted, soldiers take whatever concealment they can find. Ukraine's 25th Separate Assault Battalion was already watching. An FPV drone was dispatched immediately. The pipe that seemed like shelter became a confined space with no exit, and no room to maneuver away from what was coming in. A Russian fixed-wing UAV, spotted above the clouds by Ukraine's Khortytsia Interceptor unit. Watch the intercept. The operator closes in from behind, navigating through cloud cover at altitude. This isn't a low-level engagement. This is drone-on-drone combat at height, where visibility is limited and the target is moving fast. While conducting routine reconnaissance in the Donetsk region, a drone operator from the 414th Brigade Magyar Birds spots a Russian soldier standing beside a vehicle painted with a slogan. An FPV drone strikes. The vehicle is disabled. The soldier gets out. Then a second drone arrives. Can anyone read what's written on that vehicle? Drop it in the comments. Lyman direction. Russian soldiers pushing through dense forest, and Signum Battalion's Ukrainian FPV drones already closing in on them one by one. Lyman is one of the most strategically critical sectors on this front. Controlling it means controlling key supply routes and rail lines, connecting Russian-held territory across Donetsk and Luhansk. That's why Russian forces keep sending infantry into these forests despite consistent losses. But watch these soldiers. Alone, poorly equipped, no counter-drone awareness, no coordination. The thick vegetation they were counting on offers no real protection against Signum operators who've been flying this terrain for months. When strategic pressure keeps sending unprepared infantry into a drone-saturated sector, how long can that approach be sustained? 70 kilometers behind the front line, Zaporizhzhia direction, Ukraine's 422nd Unmanned Systems Regiment, Luftwaffe unit, and a Russian military fuel truck in their sights. A refueling truck at this depth isn't a frontline target. It's the infrastructure that keeps frontline vehicles moving. The fuel that feeds armored vehicles, artillery, and transport running toward the contact line. Strike the truck, and you don't just destroy one vehicle. You interrupt a supply chain that multiple units depend on. 70 kilometers was supposed to be safe. It wasn't. Paskuda Battalion, 3rd Assault Brigade. FPV drones breaking a Russian attack on a settlement in their sector. Motorcycles, ATVs, infantry on foot, all struck. The assault never reaches the edge of town. Russian forces keep relying on small, fast-moving groups to probe Ukrainian defenses, but without drone cover or electronic warfare support, they remain highly vulnerable to precision strikes. When every vehicle and every soldier becomes a target before they can get close, how do you even start an attack? Ukraine's 23rd Khortytsia National Guard Brigade. Fiber-optic FPV drones watching the logistics routes. UAZ vehicles, motorcycles, unarmored military transport, all moving along supply corridors that Russian forces rely on to keep their frontline positions stocked. The drones were already waiting. Each vehicle that entered the route became a target. No jamming, no signal disruption. Fiber optic means the operator stays connected regardless. Logistics stopped here don't reach the front line. When supply routes become ambush zones, how does Russian command keep its frontline units supplied? Another batch of Russian Molniya II strike drones, intercepted and destroyed before reaching their targets. Ukraine's 10th Separate Mountain Assault Brigade. Edelweiss, FPV interceptor drones from the Odin variant, specifically designed for anti-drone interception, tracking and closing in on fast-moving aerial targets. The Molniya II carries a warhead. Everyone intercepted here is a strike that never happened. Interceptor drones are changing the economics of air defense. Each drone costs a fraction of what Russia spends on a single Molniya II, while also eliminating the drones it could have launched. Vovchansk Direction, Ares Unit, 57th Motorized Rifle Brigade. Night operations with thermal-equipped FPV drones. Russian forces in their positions, infantry, armored vehicles, artillery, howitzers, all under the assumption that darkness still offers protection. It doesn't. Thermal FPV drones move into the position almost silently. Infantry targeted first, then armored vehicles, then artillery and supply assets. One by one, the entire position is dismantled from above before any effective response can begin. This is what modern night warfare looks like when thermal imaging turns darkness into daylight. Not a frontal assault, a systematic destruction of an entire position from the air. When drones can see clearly through the night, does darkness protect anyone anymore? Novopavlivka Direction, Perun Battalion, Russian military vehicles moving along a road. Old, worn-out vehicles, the kind that belong in a museum, not a war zone. On a front where modern armor doesn't survive long, Russia is sending forward whatever still runs. The drones don't care how old the target is. Pokrovsk sector. And this time, the threat isn't coming from above, it's coming across the ground. Ukrainian unmanned ground vehicles loaded with explosives driving directly into Russian positions, armored vehicles, and buildings before detonating. The key advantage over a standard FPV drone: payload. A ground vehicle can carry significantly more explosive material than any aerial drone, and the detonations show it. These aren't precision strikes, they're demolition charges. The blast radius leaves no survival margin for anything in the immediate area. No pilot exposed, no soldier at risk. Just a machine driving in and ending the position. This one is different. Instead of standard munitions, Ukrainian drone operators are dropping plastic bottles filled with flammable liquid. The moment it hits, it ignites, spreading fire across the position instantly. A plastic bottle, improvised, cheap, and effective against soldiers hiding in covered positions where fragmentation alone might not reach. Fire doesn't need precision, it spreads. When the drone delivers fire instead of a grenade, what does the soldier on the ground use for protection? Ukrainian fiber-optic FPV drones, Spear Group B of the 118th Territorial Defense Brigade, struck 3 BMPs parked inside a building and loaded for an assault. 2 of them caught fire, spreading to the third. The last drone hit the remaining armored vehicle. The Russian assault never started. When an entire assault force is paralyzed inside its staging area, what does that say about the vulnerability of Russian troop concentrations behind the lines? That's everything for today. May 19th, 2026, day 1546 of this war. 236 combat engagements were recorded on May 18th, with the heaviest fighting in the Pokrovsk direction. Russian total losses have now crossed 1,351,150 personnel, with 1,140 casualties in the last 24 hours alone. Overnight, Russia launched 209 drones against Ukraine. Ukrainian air defenses neutralized 180 of them. And in a significant development, Ukraine struck a Russian Project 21,980 anti-sabotage boat at the Kaspiysk naval base in Dagestan, over 1,200 kilometers from the front line. A naval base that, far from Ukraine, is no longer a safe rear area. Russia's spring offensive has now failed to achieve any of its stated objectives. Ukrainian forces are gradually shifting the battlefield in their favor. Through flexible defense, strikes on Russian rear infrastructure, and the drone pressure you've been watching throughout today's footage. The front holds. The drone war never stops. Subscribe for daily Frontline coverage. No agenda, just the facts. See you in the next one.